I'm doing these YouTube videos for a few different reasons. First and foremost, I want to share my collection and my passion for sneakers with the world. But I also want to share eBay tips and tricks because I've been buying and selling things on eBay for many years, and I know there's a lot of people out there that also buy and sell on eBay, or people that may want to, and I sort of want to dispel some of the myths and teach you what I've learned from doing this for so many different years. So before the ShoeZeum, I had a company called Sneaks Kicks. As you know, sneaks and kicks are both words for shoes. And this actually is Sneak. He's a cartoon character that was sort of the mascot of the company. I've got him wearing a pair of Air Max 90s over here and a pair of Air Max 360 basketball shoes over here. In the ShoeZeum, these posters were on display next to the infrared Air Max 90s and next to the hoop orange Air Max 360 BBs. So these posters actually separated the running from the basketball shoes in the ShoeZeum as well as in my former company, Sneaks Kicks. And I want to tell you how I came up with the idea of Sneak and how he really helped me running my business. So for many years, while I was in graduate school and afterward, I spent a lot of time buying shoes and selling them on eBay. Probably about 100 hours a week. I literally was driving around from one Nike outlet to another, filling cars up, filling storage units, filling warehouses with shoes. And at the end of a long day, I would come home and start answering emails. And sometimes I'd get up to 1,000 emails a day. And the quality of responses that I was giving to my customers varied greatly, depending on how much time I had, what kind of mood I was in, what I had to do after the emails were done. Remember, I was juggling my business with graduate school, and I also had a life outside of these two things, believe it or not. And so I had to come up with a way to give consistent, great customer service. And I was always focused on how to better my business. And I read this amazing book. It's called The E-Myth Revisited, and it's written by Michael Gerber. This book was originally written back in 1986, but it was rewritten in the 90s, and it's an incredible book about how to build a small business. So E-Myth stands for Entrepreneur Myth. And basically the book says that there's this myth in the United States and the world that you need to be an entrepreneur to run a business. And this book sort of dispels the idea of this grandiose entrepreneur and says that in place of that entrepreneur, what you really need are systems and processes that take care of your customers in the same consistent way each and every time. And I realized that I had no systems, no processes. It was just me running around buying shoes and then haphazardly answering emails. And I knew that my customers deserved better. So I decided that I was going to come up with Sneak. He was going to be a cartoon character of me. He was actually inspired by Woody from Toy Story and Jimmy Neutron. And I wanted to make Sneak do my customer service for me, as well as a whole bunch of other things. And here's what I mean. So basically, at the same time that I hired a graphic designer to sketch out a few versions of Sneak, I started going through and answering my emails in a different way. Instead of just answering the emails one by one, I started keeping track of what these emails were saying. And they would ask questions like, can you get this shoe in a different size? Or can you get this shoe in a different color? Or can I pick this pair up instead of paying for shipping? Do you have additional pictures of the shoes? I started realizing that there were like a lot of trends to these emails that I was being sent. And so what I did was I ranked my emails and I picked out the top 23. Of course, there was a theme of 23 running through Sneaks Kicks and the ShoeZeum because of Michael Jordan. And I basically came up with 23 questions and answers, the most common questions, and I answered them from Sneak's perspective. It was a very whimsical way of dealing with customer service. So you would ask Sneak, hey, can I pick up shoes from you? And Sneak would say, hey, you know what? I'd love to, but I'm really only 4 inches tall, so I can't meet up with people in person. Now, I'm not saying that you have to come up with a cartoon character and hokey responses, but you may want to come up with a system or a process for handling all of the emails that you get. And Sneak really worked for me. So Sneak didn't only do my customer service, and basically what I mean is I would come home, I'd have the same 1,000 emails, and instead of answering them yes, no, maybe, check back tomorrow, I would just sort of copy and paste from templates that were written from a cartoon character's perspective. And it was sort of funny and whimsical, and it was a great way of handling all the customer service. But it really didn't end there. I would also send these cards out with shoes, and it would say, the item has been inspected by Sneak. So you knew that somebody inspected your shoes before they were sent out. And then on the back, a picture of Sneak shooting a basketball with 5 stars, and it asks for 5-star DSR scores. Lately on eBay, it's not even just about feedback, it's also about your DSRs, which are detailed seller ratings. And sometimes when you sell something to a customer on eBay, you have to remind them, hey, please leave me a feedback and please leave 5-star DSR ratings. So we would send these little cards that would say, hey, Sneak inspected your package, and hey, please do us a favor, leave them feedback and leave them good DSR scores. Sometimes you just gotta remind people. Over here, during the holidays, we had little holiday Sneak cards that said, thanks for your purchase, enjoy your new kicks, Sneak, awesome. People really feel that extra personal touch when you handwrite a letter and send it along with the shoes or whatever else you're selling on eBay. My business cards all along had the posters of Sneak behind me, one of the basketball, one of the running. I guess we have to flip it around to see the basketball right there. But it's basically the same posters that we have behind me. And Entrepreneur really loved this idea of Sneak and the way that I was handling my customer service. So they featured me in the magazine. I've got a nice picture right here. And they basically said, if you want to succeed on eBay, because this is called Success Tips for eBay, if you want to succeed on eBay, love what you sell and provide great customer service. And I said all along, when people leave me a feedback, it's sort of like my report card, and I want to get all A's. If you look on my feedback right now, it's more than 70,000, and it's 100% positive. I take my business very, very seriously, even though my customer service is done by a cartoon character. I strongly suggest that you think of systems and processes to better your customer service, because it'll only result in more sales and happier customers.